Hey everyone, it's Michelle Caruana from Play Cafe Academy, and in today's video, we are talking all about Pinterest. So this is going to be one of my longer videos, but I have a guest expert with me to really help break down Pinterest. So Megan Williamson is a Pinterest strategist and niche marketing expert, and she has been helping business owners set up their Pinterest and really set up this evergreen sales funnel in the background of their business that you really only need about 15 minutes a week to update in order to take advantage of her strategy. So Megan has been helping people for over 6 years, and she has so much advice that she wants to share with you guys and so many misconceptions that she wants to break through about Pinterest. Like, for example, local businesses can't grow using Pinterest. That is completely false, and she explains exactly why that is. And she also gives some examples about local business owners who consistently get leads and clients through Pinterest. So I'm so excited for you to watch this interview that I had with Megan. But before you do that, I just want to quickly remind you to subscribe to my channel if you find this video helpful. And if you like this content, I put out a new video every single week. And if you have a Pinterest question or anything like that, feel free to comment. I answer every single question personally, and I love connecting with you guys in the comment section. And if you want more information about Megan's freebies that she mentions and all of her free stuff, go to the link in this description. I provide all of you guys with her contact information and how you can learn more from her there. All right, let's get into my interview with Megan. Welcome to the show, Megan. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this interview. I have Pinterest running in the background of my business, but it's something that I know that I need to learn more about. It's something that's always on the back burner, but I really hope that our conversation kind of reignites my interest and gets me kind of looking on it again. So if you want to start by letting people know who you are, what you do, and who you serve, that would be great.
Sure. So, my name is Megan Williamson, and I am the founder of Pin Potential. So it's a Pinterest membership. I've been working in the Pinterest marketing space for over 6 years, but technically been using Pinterest more strategically for as long as it has existed, because I am a blogger, or was a blogger. So I've been helping people for probably, people have been asking me to help them for probably as long as I've been on there, which has been almost 10 years. So my background came from that, like learning how to use it as a blogger, and then brands started asking me how they could use it. And then of course from there, small business owners and other sort of solopreneurs were asking me, okay, Megan, we love what you're doing. How do we do that? So in the last 3 years, I've completely transformed my business, where I have pivoted to really serve online business owners with how they can grow their overall audience and have more people come into their funnel, whether you're a service provider or you sell digital or physical products, how you can have more people enter your sales funnel using Pinterest.
Great. So it's more than just recipe boards, right? I know a lot.
Or beautiful wedding inspiration. I plan my own. Actually, I was looking at my account this morning, totally plan my own wedding. Right now, I'm actually at my cottage. I had a cottage vision board for 8 years, bought a cottage 2 years ago. I have puppy stuff on there because I love dogs. But it is a lot more than just puppies and recipes.
So talk to me a little bit about Pinterest for those of us who mainly use it for our weddings and for recipes.
Sure.
How is it different from other social platforms, and what makes Pinterest kind of stand out and valuable to you as an actual small business owner?
Yeah, so I love this question, because I think that there's a lot of misconceptions about Pinterest. And I think if there's anyone listening, or if you have a friend or they kind of say oh no, it's not for me, my people aren't there, it's often because they don't understand the platform. So Pinterest and I have always been best friends. The way that it was sort of designed to be used, I just naturally gravitated towards that, sharing inspiration, things that would help me make a decision, sort of aspire. So aspire to buy a cottage one day, aspire to, change my personal style over the summer and buy new outfits, or that next business move that I might have. I always went to Pinterest because I'm a very visual person. So Pinterest is actually a visual search engine. It's not really in a traditional sense, a social media platform. So Instagram, Facebook, we know that those platforms, They're more for engaging and having those conversations in the platform, and they want people to stay in the platform and not leave it. And Pinterest is actually designed for come here, dream, think about how you can, like, you know, work through whether you're planning something, a life stage like having a baby, planning a wedding, building a house, or scaling your business, etc. So I've always loved it. And I think even myself, like I use it a lot in my own business about Pinterest. Like, you know, I teach people about Pinterest, but I go there all the time. It's my favorite. You actually used a really good phrase, and it's always working in the background when I'm not working. And I think that's what really made it click for me personally, and then the people I help. A lot of people who I work with, they're done being online all day. They're done being on Instagram answering DMs for 2 hours a day. And listen, I love Instagram. I love Facebook communities. I'm sort of a little bit everywhere, but there's times where I just don't want to show up, and Pinterest takes care of me. I can go on holiday to Mexico and I'm still having leads come in, and I'm still selling products even though I'm sitting on a beach with a margarita watching my kid play in the ocean. So I love helping other people learn how to do that too.
That's awesome. And you brought up something that was really interesting, and one of the reasons that I love Pinterest as well, in that it's really a search engine. A lot of people think that it's a social media platform, but it's really not. And
No.
something that I noticed, and a big, like you said, misconception, is that people aren't on Pinterest. But I find that even if I'm searching in Google, it will bring up pins and it will bring up Pinterest things. So even if somebody doesn't go to Pinterest.com, or even if somebody isn't in the Pinterest app, they can still find your pins using other search engines, right?
Yeah, that's just it. So actually, that's what's really cool about Pinterest too, is that it sends social signals to Google, which we know, like when you build your website or your blog or your online shop, you're thinking about your SEO optimization to help drive more organic traffic from Google or other search engines. Like I say Google, and of course there's like Bing. I'm not sure who uses Bing, but someone in the world does, because it exists.
Same people that use Hotmail.
Yeah, or Yahoo. My husband just made that joke. He's like, someone signed up with a Hotmail address. Does that even still exist? So not to dismiss them. I'm sure they have a good reason to be there. But so what's really cool about Pinterest is that when people are engaging with your content, saving it, and going to your website, so if they find you on Pinterest, it actually sends a social signal to Google that you are becoming an authority for that niche. So it's incredibly powerful because, you know, I think as things grow in the online space, and as we're looking to diversify our traffic and really grow and have more people find you, we're always trying to look for, like, I hate to use the term growth hacks, but ways to have new people discover you. And that's where sometimes, like, we have to wear all these different hats. Like, you know, you have to be an SEO expert, you have to be a web expert, you have to be an Instagram expert, and a video expert, and a Pinterest expert. You don't have to be, but you do have to know a little bit about everything to have a really holistic marketing system that will help different people find you, because you're going to have some people that go to Pinterest, some people that go to Google, some that use Instagram, and you want all those people to find you because that's how you grow really quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And another misconception that my audience has a lot is, you know, I'm already creating videos, I'm already creating blogs, like I can't create new content for Pinterest, but that's not necessarily true, right? You can take the blogs that you're already creating on your website and put them on Pinterest, right? So it's really not
exactly
brand new content.
No,
right?
Or even just getting more out of your content. So you can repurpose your Instagram stories. They make amazing video pins on Pinterest. Or if you have an Instagram, and so I actually wrote a whole blog post about it, because I have so many people who come to me, like, especially in the online entrepreneur space, who are like, girl, I am exhausted. I'm already, like, you know, I'm on YouTube. I do IGTV videos. I just can't, like, I want to use Pinterest, but I can't add more to my to-do list. And so really what I teach and what I share with people, it's also just about being smart about repurposing your content for the platform. So you can pin to your YouTube videos. If you love YouTube, like, get your YouTube videos up on Pinterest. You can link to your Instagram account. So if you heavily invest in your Instagram marketing strategy, and then like, of course, if you blog, like that is like the gold of Pinterest, is when you're an active blogger, you know, no matter what type of blogging it is, people from Pinterest really love blog posts. So that's like an easy in, but there's lots of ways that you can repurpose content that you're making for other platforms on Pinterest. And it's just about creating a little workflow to make it easy and simple.
Yeah, so I blog weekly, I have my podcast, and I have my YouTube channel. And it's funny, when I thought the exact same thought that you brought up.
Yeah.
When I thought about Pinterest, I was like, I'm already doing all this stuff. Like, I can't add one more thing. But what really clicked for me was that, you know, I'm creating all this content, but nobody is seeing it. So until I started integrating Pinterest, and until I started doing like keyword research on Pinterest, nobody was seeing it anyways. So,
yeah, well, that's a crazy thing, right? Like sometimes we get ahead of ourselves, and it's not always about doing more things, but it's about doing what you do intelligently and with strategy. And that's where I love Pinterest. And I've really like, you know, I've changed my language because I think because of the misconceptions about Pinterest, it's an amazing top of funnel visibility platform. So, you know, I find that if you're getting strategic about Pinterest, instead of being like, well, I want to send referrals and make sales right away, think about it. Think about your ecosystem. Like someone probably follows you on YouTube for a while before they take an action that you're going to ask them to take. However, you've monetized, right? Whether it's an affiliate link or you're sending them to a product you sell. And so it's no different from Pinterest, is that there's lots of people who are interested in what you sell, whether it's a service or a physical product or a digital product, but they need to get to know you. So you need to have like, what do you want people to do? Do you want them to join your email list? Do you want them to follow you on YouTube? Or maybe you have a free Facebook community, and that's where you really, you know, deliver and you show up, and it's deciding about where you love being. So you love, you know, your podcast, you love YouTube. So then how can you promote those things on Pinterest so more people can discover you and your amazing brand?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, it's all about getting those people just into my world. And then I know that if I can put, you know, mostly I promote free things on Pinterest. I find that those perform the best in terms of click-through rate and things like that. But then in every blog post and in every YouTube video, there's a call to action to download a free thing. And so for me,
you know what you're doing. This is great.
For me, it's all about just getting people into my world, getting them familiar with my brand, and then getting them onto my email list. A lot of people miss that, I think. They just expect, you know, sales to come from Pinterest. But it's so funny because I didn't have a lot of strategy around it. I think I was hitting like once a week, but I was looking at my email list and I was like, okay, I'm running Facebook ads. I'm getting like 5 conversions a day, but where are all these emails coming from? And I couldn't figure it out. So I had to Google Analytics, and I was like, oh my gosh, they're coming from Pinterest.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's when I really started to be like, okay, this is serious. Like if I'm going to spend all this time creating content, I have to put some real strategy behind this.
Yeah.
So if you could go back and tell me, you know, last year, if I'm just getting started, what are some tips you have around, you know, understanding how to even get started on Pinterest?
Sure. Well, it may have been an accident for you, Michelle, but actually what you did is very smart. So I think thinking about your marketing plan overall. So we engage in activities that are sort of like visibility planning, getting in front of more people. Then you have where you're going to nurture people. I think you need to know what your goal is and understand your buyer's journey, because nobody just follows you on Instagram one day or follows you on YouTube and 30 minutes later buys from you, or very rarely. Most of them actually want to get to know you. So think about those places where you have the highest conversions as a business owner, whether it be someone signing up for a package or someone purchasing an actual thing from you. Think about where you make those highest conversions and think about how you can lead people into that sales funnel. So you mentioned having some freebies that do very well on Pinterest. So then I assume, you know, you lead people in with the freebie, you offer that exchange, you know, for your email, then I'm going to give you this, and then you send them into a beautiful nurture sequence that leads to a paid opportunity to work with you and take your relationship to the next level. So I think having that perspective of thinking about your business and where you're going to make sales, step 1, very important. Step 2 is setting up your account for success. So putting down that foundational information So, having boards, at least 10 boards on your account, optimizing your profile, doing Pinterest keyword research. And actually, I just had someone write this morning that they admitted that they were doing keyword research, but she's an Etsy seller. So she was doing her keyword research on Etsy and then just putting it onto Pinterest. And I said, but it's different, right? Like the
Right.
keywords that people search on Etsy. So you need to do Pinterest keyword research. And I'm not sure when you do your own, Michelle, but I do my keyword research when I'm actually writing or coming up with the video content, so that I include those keywords when I'm crafting my blog post. And I also look at SEO and I kind of marry them so that when I hit publish and then I add it to Pinterest, I'm already done my keyword research. I know the combinations of words to use to help connect my content to the people who are looking for it. So I would say doing keyword research, optimizing your profile. So, not having a sloppy mess, having at least 10 boards, and having topics that attract your ideal audience. And this is something that people really miss, but pardon me, you want to create an account that attracts your ideal audience and gives them that fuller picture of who you are. So even if your business, like myself, I'm in Pinterest marketing, I include information about other social media marketing, email marketing, website optimization, YouTube, all these different components, but I also have food, fashion, lifestyle, because people are interested in that. And that's also as a person using Pinterest in an authentic way, those are things that I pin. So I want you, like when people are listening and thinking about, okay, well, how do I get started? Think about what would help your ideal customer and then curate an account that reflects that information.
Yeah, absolutely. So something that I struggled with when I was first getting started was, okay, do I just use my current Pinterest account that I planned my wedding on? Do I create a business account? Do you have any recommendations on like really starting from scratch? Like, should you set it up under your business name? How?
Yeah, that's a hard question.
I
So
know.
it's always depends, right? Like, I'm just going to be honest. So a lot of people ask me that question. I do get it regularly. And I would say I prefer for people to convert their personal account to a business account and try to, like, salvage isn't a very sexy word, but salvage what you have. Because oftentimes you've even built up like an authentic audience just for like it demonstrates your style as well, right? And I think that this is where, as being in the online space, like people are interested. Like I was already thinking, I'm like, oh, that's such a cute dress that she's wearing. I should ask her where she got it. Like, it's just like, as a person, we're interested in other parts of your life. And so, and everyone knows that, right? Like, what are your DMs? Like, my DMs blew up once when I talked about like the diaper cream that I used with my son. And I'm like, what does this have to do with Pinterest? Why does everyone care about diaper cream? But they were just, sometimes those like humanizing elements of our life are what really attract people. And actually, we're human, we're regular people. So I would say try to salvage your personal account, switch it to a business account. And if you have some stuff that's very private or like outdated. So I worked with a woman who had a great account, but she had like somebody had a baby. So there was like baby boy shower. And I said, just put it in secret, just like clean it up, archive a few things, put a few boards into secret, clean it up, tidy it, and, make sure that if you have, I call them affinity interests. So things outside of your own niche or industry are okay, but you don't want like 50 boards about fashion when you're selling, dog products. Like, you just need to make sure that, you keep it sort of, you rein it in.
Right. Kind of like on Instagram, you don't want 100% of your posts to be about selling. You want it to be like a mix of your lifestyle and who you are, especially like we're coaches, right? So people need to know a little bit about us. But if if you're selling dog products or something, it is good to have a little bit on the outside, but not so that people don't, when they arrive to your account, they at least understand what the main point is.
Yeah, you don't want them to get totally confused about like, what am I looking at here? But it is good to have things that are related, but just don't go too far out. And people will say to me, well, how many, right? Like everyone who thinks in black and white. And I think it is a gray zone. So it's sort of one of those things that I would say, if you have 10 boards, 8 of them should be directly linked to what your industry or business is about. And then two outside to humanize you. So if you have 20 boards, then you can have 4 fun boards, right?
Yeah, that's a good little rule of thumb. I like that. So we kind of alluded to the different types of business owners that can be on Pinterest, but who in general is Pinterest really suited for?
This is a great question. So it's really suited for people who are, well, one, that you can show up consistently. I find that the people who don't experience much success, it's sort of like a flash in the pan and they walk away from it. So I think once you decide that you're ready to sort of put some effort into it, take it off the back burner. Like I know it sits on the back burner for a lot of people. But it's really well suited to people who are invested in their content plan. So like very obviously listening to you and getting to know about how your own business is set up, you are committed to blogging once a week, YouTube videos. And so like once you have that commitment, I know that sometimes people will have an e-commerce shop and they only have 3 products and they're like, oh, Megan, I really want to use Pinterest. Not ideal when you only have 3 products, because you have to think about every piece of content that you create is a vehicle for promoting your business. So if you aren't creating things that help promote your messaging, what you do, what your offers are, then you're going to have a difficult time. Pinterest prefers new content. They're calling it fresh content. So you can create pins for older content and it's considered fresh, but it's going to get really old if you only have 3 blog posts and for 12 months you're just promoting those 3 things. And that's why having a very, it doesn't have to be 1 post a week, but if you commit to doing 2 blog posts a month, or maybe it's 1 blog post and 2 YouTube videos, you need to think about how you can continually add to the machine of the algorithm and just really further your message and allow people to have a way to work with you in a free way and learn from you. So it's best suited for people who are committed to there's a content marketing plan, however you define that: YouTube, Instagram, blogging, etc.
So really any business that, like you said, has a content creation plan. So even like local businesses?
Yeah. So I work and have worked and run workshops for people who have brick and mortar shops. I think that there's a few tweaks you need to make, like making sure your geographical information is there. I've worked with photographers who only shoot in their state or province. So you would want to just make sure that it's you're very clear. I have a wonderful example from my membership, and she's based in New Orleans, and she books clients now on a regular basis from Pinterest because all of her blog content focuses around photography in New Orleans. So birth photography, wedding photography. She's often using those geographical locations of like where the weddings are happening. So brides and grooms are going to be, people who are getting married will go on and search that venue and then they find her. Or it could be like, she has a great blog post called like what to do, it's like emergency planning for a wedding, because she says a lot of people it's a destination for getting married. And so a lot of people show up and they're not prepared for rain, they're not prepared for heat. And so she gives them a little to-do list, and it's great because a lot of people get to know how she's an expert of shooting in all these crazy conditions, being a photographer in a very local region. So yeah, I've even seen, or people who run workshops, physical workshops when we were allowed to do such things. And you include the geographical information. So just in New York City, just in, San Francisco. And that way you're just appealing to local people who are looking up your city or region.
Yeah. So technical question, but are you including that in like the name of the pin, the description of the pin, or is there like an actual like geographical?
You can do it. So there's three places technically. Well, 4, I guess. You could put it anywhere where you can put text. So you can put it in your profile. You can put it in your location on your profile. So when you verify your location, you can put it on your board titles. So like, for instance, the photographer puts like New Orleans weddings. And then you can also put it on your pins. So if your pins are driving traffic to like your services page or a product that is only purchased in person, then I would make sure that you put where your shop is. And then also you have to think about who else it's going to catch. So sometimes like people are planning like, weekend in New York City. And then if you include terminology like that and you have a shop in New York City and you use those keywords, then you might come up in that search as well.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I have a very large brick and mortar business owner audience. So that's why I was asking, because a lot of the pushback I get is that, Pinterest is only for national brands. It can't work for me because I only serve a specific client base. So I'm glad that you said that that is not really the case. You can still put content out there and drive actual bookings and sales from Pinterest if you are a local business.
Well, and even like I work with real estate agents who only work in like one part of a city. And so what they do, and again, this like our conversation keeps looping back on like thinking about your content plan. So I did a strategy session with, there were a couple, they only worked on the west side of the city that I actually live in. And so we talked about their blog content. I said, you need to create blog content, like the 10 best places to get a cappuccino on the west side, the six best dog parks, because people who are looking to move to you might look up, if you're a dog owner, you look up dog parks. If you have young children, you look up school ratings, right? Like look up the things that those people are looking for, or restaurants or what have you. So you just have to really get into that space of your customers.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I love that you said that, because it's very similar to SEO and when you're planning your blog content. So it's that same mindset. And that's just another reason, like bringing it back to the first part of our conversation, Pinterest really is a search engine. It's not, it's not a regular social media tool. It's really unique in that way, which I appreciate. And like you said, it can run in the background, which I think is just lovely.
Right? I think especially when we engage in so many things that are so active now, right? Like being on Instagram stories, uploading a new YouTube video. So it sometimes feels like you do just want that like passive salesperson in the background working for you and bringing people from all over the world, right? Like, people who are reading my content in the UK when I'm still sleeping, like lights out money. There's nothing better than lights out money. Yes, waking up to a sale. Like, this morning I woke up to a sale from somebody who joined and bought a tiny offer from me. And then they bought my upsell today. And I was just like, I woke up and I was drinking my coffee and I'm like, this is amazing. I made money while I was sleeping.
That is the gold standard. That is definitely the goal. So for those of us who are listening, who are like, yes, I'm sold. I want to engage in Pinterest, but I don't know how to start. Like what is the beginning stages of setting up a workflow look like? Like how much time should someone expect to dedicate? Where can they learn more about getting started? Things like that.
Sure. So I think when you first get started and you're really starting at 0 or step 1 or 2, you do need to put in a few hours. Like you need to think about your boards that you want. You need to set up your business account, verify your website. And so I would say like for the first 2 weeks, maybe put aside 1 to 2 hours. And then once you've done the basic setup and done your keyword research, optimized your account, it shouldn't take you more than half an hour, 45 minutes a week. So that's by using like an approved scheduler. That's by, knowing that you have your content flow. So whether it be a blog post, YouTube video, IGTV, whatever, and know that you need to create optimized content. So create your Pinterest graphics. And so after that, it's just like popping in, filling up your queue, popping into Pinterest once a week. I have lots of, I have a freebie about how to optimize your images, like make perfect Pinterest pins, I call it. I have a free guide on that if anyone wants to learn about that.
Yeah, I'll definitely link to that one in the show.
Yeah, and people love it because it also is just up to date. So there's always changes with what's going on, and that's the most up-to-date information about how to optimize your images. And I think that, once you autopilot it and it starts like you, right? Like bringing people in constantly, it's addictive because you're just like, oh my God, and I didn't have to do like a webinar or workshop and I have all these people finding and discovering me. So if people want to learn more, I have lots of free content on my own blog, meganwilliamson.com. I run regular Pinterest challenges. So once every 3 or 4 months, I run a 3 days to double your Pinterest audience challenge. And it truly is like, the results from it are amazing. We focus on all the basics. So if people are interested in that, that's a great way to get started for free, and really see the benefit in just a few days work, which is, pretty awesome.
The dream. Yeah. And I completely agree with that. I can verify that, it did take me 1 to 2 hours a week when I was just getting started, but now it's like one just checklist item on my list, and I spend like 15 to probably closer to a half hour a week, and it's just
amazing.
Yeah. So I highly encourage everyone to check out that free content. I'm going to link to it in the description of the video and in the show notes, depending on where you're watching / listening. But definitely it is something that you don't want to sleep on. I think that, like I was saying earlier, when I really understood the value of Pinterest, it made everything that I was doing amplified. So instead of adding all of this, I had this misconception that it was going to be this huge burden, but really it made my content that I was already spending all this time and effort on, it made it finally reach its potential. And until then, it really just didn't. So I want you to kind of, anyone that's watching or listening, to really just open your mind and don't think of this as another checklist item and another, oh gosh, I have to learn one more thing. It is something that if you can do this service for your business to really, dig deep into Megan's free content and just commit to getting the strategy up and running, it is going to be something that you don't regret. It's going to be something that you see fruits from for months, years to come. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I love that. And you know what? I thought of the word amplify when you were talking, right? Like we pour our hearts into this blogging regularly, and it's going to amplify it and give you visibility that is like phenomenal when you're not even working on it. And it's right. It gives back for months and years. The average lifespan of a pin is 3,000 days. So.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I got a puppy like 6 years ago, and every couple weeks I'll get like random repins from that board. Like, oh my gosh, like it's just so funny, but I totally believe that, and I think that word, that amplify word, is really something that I want to stick with everybody, because everyone is on Google, right? Everyone is posting blogs, everyone is posting content, but not everybody is on Pinterest. So it's another great reason to really commit to learning the strategy as soon as possible, because it's not like, a huge undertaking. It's something that just requires a couple hours and some ongoing maintenance, maybe investing in an expert if you really want to take it to the next level. But this is something that I really want everyone watching or listening to commit to. So thank you so much. Is there anything that you wanted to leave us with? Anywhere else that we can connect?
That's it. If anyone has any questions, follow me on Instagram. I'm Megan A. Williamson on Pinterest. You can look up Megan Williamson. I have over 122,000 followers on there. And I'm always pinning, things for small business owners. And if you're in the online space, I have a Facebook community. I'm always answering questions. So if anyone has any questions that are unique to their business and they really feel like, maybe they can't find the answer, reach out to me. I love meeting new people too. So it's always, I'm a friendly person.
Awesome. Well, you've convinced me, and I hope that everyone is convinced not only that you are the go-to for Pinterest, but also that it's something that needs to be integrated into your marketing strategy to really make it, like you said, holistic. So thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Have a great day.